Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Alright, so obviously today it is time again for another Will I Buy It, as more products have been releasing. We are getting into the full throes of spring and summer releases, even though I am filming this just in April. Which I guess works really well for the spring, but seeing like summer releases and then we're gonna have literal Christmas holiday in July. But that aside, let me just give some credit where credit is due. The idea and the creation of the Will I Buy It was created by Samantha March. We'll leave her details and everything down below. Which is a spin-off of the anti-haul, kind of maybe potentially giving it a more positive vibe. But the anti-haul was originally created by Amber's Beauty Chair and then popularized by Kimberly Clark. We'll leave their details down below as well. Alright, today I've got some very choice items to talk about. Some or all that are probably going to be like out and available by the time this goes up. One thing of which I know will be, I haven't checked it, I'm 99.9% sure it is sold out because all their stuff sells out, is that new Milk Cosmetics fancy 4-pan shiny intergalactic thing stack quad. You all know that part in my makeup journey I have become very much a matte lover, but there is a part in my soul that will always be drawn to glitter and shimmery and effervescent and intergalactic, which is what this palette is. This is a beautiful, just slather that all over your lid, get you a highlight, do some eyeliner, and you're good. I believe it retails for like $48, which for like 4 shades is super pricey, and I know that Milk Cosmetics, especially when it comes to their eyeshadows, are on that more pricey range. Their like Gemini palette was like $57. It was expensive. Great formula, but really expensive. And I mean, this is kind of a... It's expensive. It's something I'm pretty sure it's sold out. Maybe on a restock. If they do a restock, Milk Cosmetics is not good about that. I might look into it, but as for right now, you know, if it's sold out, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm pretty sure I could probably dupe that in my collection already. Then something that I saw, you guys may or may not know, I have been attempting and trying to invest in more skincare and also kind of like more expensive skincare. I do have plans on purchasing 2 things from Tatcha to try out, so stay tuned for that. But this is the Glow Recipe Pineapple C Brightening Serum. You guys know that I have been into like face oils and serums because with my skin type, I cannot live on a moisturizer alone. I need something else, some sort of intensity to tone down the terribleness that is the genetic condition of my face. And this looks like something really interesting. I have heard good things about Glow Recipe. I do feel that they're kind of like a hyped up Instagram-y brand, kind of like Farsali. So you like, oh look, it's cute and watermelon and pineapple and everything. Rather than really hearing like the merit of the products, I'm probably gonna wait and see some reviews and stuff like that. You know, go into Sephora and like feely on the skin. But that is definitely something that I am interested in going into. If you guys have tried anything by Glow Recipe, leave it down below. Let me know what you recommend, or if they're a brand that's just all hype and know nothing else. Then let's talk about some Fenty Beauty. With Fenty Beauty, there is like, for me, it's hit and miss. Y'all would have seen my full face where some of the things were like, oh, pretty, nicey nice. Some of the things were just new. Well, one of the things that y'all know I am a huge fan of are her Killawat highlighters and her Killawat foils, of which she is dropping 2 new colors. And you know this is a formula that even if it doesn't work highlighter-wise, I like using them as blush. That's, for some reason, it's like a dual-use formula for me. So I am definitely going to be picking up that duo one that looks, when I have some color, that is going to be, yes, so beautiful. And the other one looks really pretty. Obviously, it is a highlighter intended for deeper skin tones, which is the Fenty Beauty demographic, not me pasty. But the one thing I'm a little bit kind of like about is the name, which is Geishachic, which is, you know, procking off of the cultural identity of the Japanese geisha. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I've got my whatever about cultural appropriation and however we should, but I feel like, see, what I feel like is a lot of other brands like Lime Crime and a lot of other people get called out for cultural appropriation. So I guess I'm just kind of waiting and interested to see if anyone, if Fenty Beauty is immune because of how popular it is. Speaking of Lime Crime, creating products that we don't really need. A unicorn hair star mist in rosé, which is basically a glitter hairspray. I'm not sure in what world we thought this was a good idea, putting glitter in a dispensary that can just shoot it off into the atmosphere where it will remain for eternity. I mean, I understand for festivals, and Lime Crime is all kinds of ethereal unicorn, mermaid, fairy vibes. But if I've got underneath the wig, I have got the hair, and then I've got the sides shaved, and occasionally if I want a little something, I will take like a glitter gel and kind of like that, but that's like as far as I can go. I feel like that is like a nice and controlled substance, whereas a glitter spray is exactly that. I don't know where it's going. I don't know where it's gonna end up, whereas the gel, I can just like, I got it here and just here. So for a multitude of reasons, that's something that I'm like, the can looks cute and it's pretty and, you know, rosé and everything like that, but just no. This next thing kind of goes into something I talked about in my last Will I Buy It, which was the Sephora plus Marvel. Well, apparently Ulta is doing a Avengers specific collection. I don't know if Marvel just like reached out specifically to, they're like, okay, we got the Sephora brand over here. All right, then we got a more affordable, we got the Ulta brand over here. Let's bring all the makeup people, all the price demographic, all the nerds, whatever, in on this. And for the same reason that I wouldn't be interested in buying the Sephora, the Ulta brand is cruelty-free. This, I feel, is a little less crazy, though honestly, looking at it, I don't feel very inspired. I'm just kind of like, well, they took a bunch of colors and slapped Avengers Endgame on it and are trying to ride the hype of that. And then going in, riding the hype. I believe this was in an anti-haul of mine, and then maybe a Will I Buy It? I'm not entirely sure. I've had a bunch of y'all like tagging me in it and asking me about it. We're gonna discuss it now, and this is probably gonna be my final words on it. We finally got pictures for the Urban Decay Game of Thrones collaboration. Now we're in the last season of Game of Thrones, which is why I'm sure this is happening, you know. Urban Decay is thinking, or the Game of Thrones, whoever is making this makeup, thinking, all right, we're in the last season. This is our last opportunity to make a push and shove and get some money out of this. And so they went to Urban Decay and they're like, all right, we want a hideously ugly eyeshadow palette. We want some really nifty looking sword brushes. We want a highlighter palette, some eye pencils, and some bullet lipsticks. And I mean, overall, besides like the packaging, which is obviously one of the key selling points to this, the makeup on a whole, doesn't look exciting. I mean, in the highlighter palette, they've got the dragon egg stamped on it. That's cute. But the eyeshadow palette, I mean, the person who sat down and created that, the color stories, the layout, absolutely everything should be fired. It's not aesthetically appealing. I mean, you've got kind of the little quad things or whatever, and I'm just like, no, that's not cute. There are a lot of shimmers in there. Urban Decay has a okay shimmer formula. And just all in all, I mean, I saw the pictures and I was just kind of like, oh, this is what we're doing. And I have absolutely no interest in it. The only thing that I'd be interested in it is maybe reviewing it for like you guys, but I would be going into it with an already biased kind of opinion. So we're just gonna let that one go. It can go off and be happy in its own time. All right, let's get real for a minute. We're talking about brands not being able to handle PR. Tarte, after like a year, decided, you remember that really stupid mistake we made when we did that April's Fool thing, and then, you know, the Shop Hush brand created it, and so we couldn't actually do it. Well, we're releasing it now. But we're not actually releasing that. We're releasing it in one of our stupid smaller palette formulas. Probably because Jeffree Star is releasing the Blue Blood, and so everyone's going to be on that blue trend. So we need to get on the blue trend, even though if we'd actually not made the palette a joke, we would have been on the blue trend before it was a blue trend. The Tarte Icy Betch palette is finally a thing at this point. I may get it to review it. I may do that. I may do a comparison with the Blue Blood palette because I know a lot of y'all don't want to support Jeffree Star. But a part of me just feels like a certain kind of way about a brand that like someone else needs to lose their job. I'm just like, did we really think this through? And there was no like promo just on Trend Mood. It was like available, like no warning, no nothing, just look, here we are. And they do that because they don't want to deal with people calling them out. They don't want to actually have to address anything. They're like, if we do any promos or anything like that, you know, people are gonna have time to talk about it and anti-haul it, you know, and hype it up or hype it out before it even exists. So we're just gonna release it and hopefully it'll sell. Not to me. And then another thing that just kind of like instead of releasing a line of blushes or a new line of highlighters or even a new line of highlighter blush duos, Miss Kat Von D decided to release just one little mini blush highlighter duo with a highlighter shade we already have. Was there any thought put into this? Like, the Vegan Love came out and I was like, yeah, cool, that's something I can get behind. But like, almost everything else she's released, like, recently, from like end of last year to like coming into this year, it's just, it doesn't make any sense from like a product or a brand. We're just getting these little random, inconsequential, non-thought out, non-well-formulated products that end up to be totally underwhelming. I would rather she take the time to really formulate either a new blush formula, which I've been waiting for years, or even, you know, a blush highlighter. You know, I can get behind that. I can get down with that. No, we're just gonna release this piddly little mini, kind of another like little like, maybe we'll see if people like it, and if people like it, we'll make some more. But we're not actually going to invest the time and effort and money into releasing an actual full-blooded product. Then you got two things that really just tear you apart inside, because you always got the things. You got the things that you're like, yeah, sure. And you got the things that you're like, no. And then you got the things that are like in the middle that you're like, yeah, my inner whatever would love to have that. But then my outer is just like, no, stop. No, please don't treat yourself no more. So we've got first up the new Fenty Beauty Body Lava, which looks so beautiful. You guys know I've been converted to the liquid highlighter, and I love mixing them in, dabbing them all over, giving myself that ethereal glow. But I think if I remember correctly, these things are like $69, and I'm like, woo! How much product are you getting in that thing? I mean, if I'm paying $69 for liquid, I better be getting enough to last me like forever. And a part of me is just like, I mean, it's so pretty, but like they're like other, like more affordable. I mean, even high-end, more affordable ones like the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors, or I really like the ones from Killawat. There's some really good drugstore ones. Like, I don't need to spend this much money on that kind of liquid highlighter. And then going into something I really don't need to be spending that much money on. I don't even know how much money they are. Just insert exorbitantly expensive right here. The Pat McGrath IEYEDOLLS Idols single eyeshadows. Now, I don't know if it's the promo picture, which you look at the promo picture and you're like, wow, I got stars in my eyes. I mean, that's just genius marketing right there. But I don't know what it is, but I was just looking at them and I'm like, they look so pretty. Then I'm like, I've got a drawer. I've toned it down. I've gotten rid of a lot of them, but I do have a drawer filled with single eyeshadows that I do not use nearly as much as I should, that I'm sure cost a lot less than how much these are gonna cost. And so for the sense that, like, I don't need any more single eyeshadows, they're gonna be exorbitantly expensive. They're a formula I've never tried. Despite the pretty, beautiful sparkliness of it all, I cannot do it. And that is going to be the end of this particular Will I Buy It. I've got some things that I'm super excited about that your girl gonna snatch up, and obviously some things that I thought was very, very opinionated on, but that's, you guys know what you came in for. Obviously, let me know what you think about the products I talked about. If there's something that you are planning on getting, let me know some other products that I didn't talk about that either you would recommend or you wouldn't recommend you're getting or you're not getting and all that jazz. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!